Welcome to the Human Nature Channel. I'm your host, Alex Tamsul, and what am I doing here? Well, it's Wednesday morning once again in my dad's well-ventilated farm garage, where the great outdoors and the great indoors come together. Do I have anything interesting to show you tonight? As a matter of fact, I do. I happen to have a two-string Japanese shamisen with one broken string. I can't think of anything sadder than a two-string shamisen with one broken string. Can you? The thing does make noise. The neck goes into this box, which I guess is sort of a resonator. The top of it's like the head of a drum. The string passes over the top of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the bottom of it up towards the microphone in my camera, and I'm going to pluck the string, and let's see what happens. So far I can only get that one note out of this. But it's like I said before, you never know what you're going to find in my dad's farm garage. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, hold on. I have a can of Foster's. And I have my Pink Floyd beer coolie. This is turning into one sad vid. I have my pointer with a magnet on it. Thor has his hammer. I have my pointer. I have a wooden shoe. It's got the decal of a windmill on it. It was in the house. Once upon a time, there was a Dutchman who said, "Hey, what happened to my other shoe?" Oh, look who has paid us a return visit. It is Irv. Time for your close-up, Irv. Yes, get a load of that handsome profile. Also, he has the tin cup to remind everybody that I also put videos on Patreon where you can go over and become a patron of mine. Also, down in the notes, you will notice that I have my post office box. If you would rather throw money at me like I was Edith Piaf standing on a street corner singing, I won't talk you out of it. Sorry I didn't get to do a video last week other than a song. A number of things came up that threw me off my writing schedule. I had to go to a funeral. An aunt of mine passed away, my dad's sister. She'd been in hospice the last 2 months, so it wasn't unexpected. But I found out on Saturday that the funeral was to be on Tuesday, when I'm usually putting the finishing touches on a script, and I just said, oh well. Then I had my external hard drive go bad on me after 17 years. My silent partner stopped by Thursday to see if he could salvage the data, so that sucked up more time. Then another buddy of mine wanted me to drive him to Walmart so we can get a mini refrigerator. Oh yeah, and it rained. If there ever was a reason to put off to tomorrow what you can do today, it's rain. But there was one funny thing that also proved a diversion. Now, by the time I go to bed on Friday night, I always like to be at least 500 words to the good on my next script. Or at least have something started. But the Friday before last, I had 4RE United States leave some comments for video number 30. And you know me, I love to answer comments. I'm not going to go into what was said between us. You can go to my video number 30's comments section and read them for yourselves. But when it was all said and done, I sat back and said, shit, there's my 500 words. And I don't feel like writing anything more tonight. Even though a lot of what I said to 4RE was actually a pretty good summary of why I started doing Las Vegas shooting videos in the first place, I knew I didn't want to build an entire video around this. It may come across as if I was beating up on 4RE, and I didn't want to do that. We still follow each other on Twitter. Hey, we're all one big happy family here in the Las Vegas Shooting Truth community, right? Anyway, let's start off with some Las Vegas shooting truth community news. On Sunday, Jason Goodman tweeted that his backup YouTube channel, Crowdsource the Truth 2, just went over 1 million views. Can you actually believe they make plastic shofars? Yeah, it's a noisemaker for New Year's. See, it says Happy New Year on one side, and I guess it says Happy New Year in Hebrew on the other. For the Jewish New Year? I would think so. And it was only $1.99. Such a deal. I got this in Squirrel Hill, center of the known universe, I'm telling you. Anyway, back to Goodman. I sent him a tweet in response, something I do all the time to him anyway, and I said, impressive number, considering the rest of us are getting squashed by the Google Topics blacklist. Call me cynical, but I can picture a computer program with dummy Google accounts watching some YouTube channel over and over and over, and now I'm not suggesting in any way that Mr. Goodman has engaged in such chicanery, but with my knowledge of the ways a computer can operate, I'm just saying. I also sent him another tweet where I told him, next time you have John Cullen on to promote his silly theory about shots from helicopters being the source of fire at the Las Vegas shooting, you should play Ride of the Valkyries. Run, Charlie. By then, John should have found helicopter number 7. Jason Goodman is a gatekeeper, protecting his own the same way corporate hacks in the legacy media protect the Clintons. But talking about him is just a way of easing into one of the topics we're going to cover tonight, which is the YouTube de-ranking of political content and what it means for all us creators covering the Las Vegas shooting, or any subject considered politically sensitive. By now, most of you probably know what I'm talking about, even though it is tough to find articles addressing this subject directly. Sure, you'll see articles in the New York Times or the Guardian talking about how YouTube is changing its algorithm, but it's usually framed as YouTube taking steps to prevent young white men from being radicalized by misinformation. These types of articles, and there are a lot of them, in my estimation, are little more than corporate spin. If you want the real story on what is happening to content creators, all you have to do is watch recent videos by Tim Pool or Sticks and Hex and Hammer 666, who have been talking about the demonetization and de-ranking of YouTube content creators with increasing frequency and alarm. And Pool and Sticks are hardly conspiracy theorists. It started with the adpocalypse of late 2016, where conspiracy-themed YouTube channels that had been making some chunk of change for their creators for years were suddenly finding their videos being demonetized right and left, if not outright taken down. This was right around the time YouTube was giving Alex Jones the heave-ho. But fast forward to today, and now YouTube is automatically de-ranking any political videos, even though politics is a category you get to pick when you start a new YouTube channel. I could complain about how unfair this all seems, but what's the point in trying to reason with an algorithm? I call it AS, artificial stupidity. I can say I've even seen this with the Human Nature channel. My video number 16, John Cullen on the Hot Seat, was my big statement about the Las Vegas shooting. I uploaded it on April 30th of this year, right around the time I started to hear stories about the big changes at YouTube that were coming. Now, video number 16 has gotten over 1,000 views, and it picks up more views from time to time. Respectable for a relatively young channel like mine, and I have the feeling this is because it was being recommended to people who are not subscribers. But more recent videos haven't done quite so well in the views department. Not that I'm complaining. Getting around 175 views per video, which exceeds my number of subscribers, is nothing to sneeze at. I know I'm reaching people. I still enjoy the interaction I get from viewers who comment. But when a content creator has videos not getting anywhere near the high water mark of 1,000 plus views, he might be excused for feeling that he's had his wings clipped. But that was also right around the time YouTube was taking a lot of heat from the corporate news outlets as being this radicalizer of our nation's youth. And since YouTube and Google seem to be run by a sorry bunch of gutless wonders whose knees start knocking when the Wall Street Journal or other news outlets accuse them of spreading conspiracy theories or racism, it's no surprise they caved in on free speech to other corporate scumbags, terrified of boycotts from SJWs, which is funny since with student debt, SJWs don't have any money anyway. But instead, YouTube starts squeaking about how it will do more to take steps to curb the online hate, which is now defined as anything you say that some circle jerker doesn't want you to say. Sadly, YouTube, because of its new policies, no longer seems to give a good goddamn about the original type of content creators that built this platform in the first place, in a lot of cases with edgy and off-the-wall material. At one time, the advertisers didn't seem to particularly mind where their ads landed, but now, one YouTube channel I can think of that's getting hit particularly hard, and undeservedly so, in my opinion, is Truthstream Media, run by Aaron and Melissa Dykes. I have to say I do enjoy their channel. I've seen a lot of their documentaries about secret societies and funny business at Montauk and the real story behind Area 51. Things which could have been the basis for a plot of your average X-Files episode. I'm showing my age here, but do you remember the good old days when nobody got bent out of shape by things that were presented on the X-Files? Remember when Robert Anton Wilson's The Illuminati trilogy was an underground bestseller? Remember Eyes Wide Shut? Those days are gone, Jack. And the way Aaron and Melissa have been treated lately seems to make no bones about it. Secret history was once a term used as a sort of synonym for conspiracy theory, and I was into that type of subject matter long before the Las Vegas shooting. I do have a knack for this sort of thing, and getting on YouTube 10 years ago would have been the smart move. Sleeping through a gold rush should teach me a lesson. One of the reasons I like to talk up Jen from Nothing If Not Intense was something she said in one of her early videos that struck me as poignant. I had been systematically working my way through her vids, starting with the first one, and I remember her remarking that this was the first time she'd ever gotten into anything like this that could be considered conspiracy-oriented, for lack of a better term. She had crossed that line where she knew she was being lied to. Here is what struck me. This is something universal among us. I remember when I crossed that line in a big way, about 4 months after 9/11, when I became aware of the story of serious Clinton critic Barbara Olson being on Flight 77 that crashed into the Pentagon on 9/11. Such a hot potato with Ted Olson's 3 different versions of the story about her calling him in flight that even Clinton haters don't dare call this one Arkansas. But I'll bet every one of you has had that moment where in relation to some mass casualty event, you said to yourself, hey, wait one doggone minute. I think I'm being lied to. So this all leads me to a question. With all of this before us, where do we, as video content creators in the Las Vegas shooting truth community, go next? It's a question for us as a collective, as well as for individuals. I saw Nini's last video was on Jeffrey Epstein. Brian Shields has done the occasional video on something other than the Las Vegas shooting. I've always left that option open for myself as well. But there is also the collective angle, as in, as a group, what would be the smart thing to concentrate on? The thing that would get the attention of the U.S. Congress? I think the answer to that is to focus on police incompetence and malfeasance in the LVMPD, especially when it comes to the Las Vegas shooting. I listened to Paladin's last video, and I was greatly encouraged to hear him saying things that echoed a point I've made at the end of some of my other videos, that we need an organized campaign to effectively get the attention of the U.S. House of Representatives and the House Judiciary Committee. If we want to get the House to reopen the investigation into the Route 91 Harvest Festival massacre, our best bet is to demonstrate to congressmen in no uncertain terms that the initial investigation by the LVMPD was a botch and a disgrace of such magnitude that Congress can't look away without themselves being accused of dereliction of duty. If we play this right, we may find that congressmen are perpetually afraid of losing power and may be easy to scare into doing the right thing. As for me, I'm tempted to stop saying Las Vegas shooting in the title of my videos and instead say LVMPD Fuzzy Cat, just to see if that beats that inhuman piece of shit algorithm. Okay, well, I did promise a couple of videos back to give you a personal story I had about the 2015 San Bernardino shooting, at the time the deadliest mass shooting in the U.S. and the deadliest terrorist attack to occur on U.S. soil since 9/11. Time to make good on that promise. This is the story as per the Wikipedia article on it, and I'll read it to you just to refresh your memories. On December 2nd, 2015, 14 people were killed and 22 others were seriously injured in a terrorist attack consisting of a mass shooting and an attempted bombing at the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California. The perpetrators, Syed Rizwan Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, a married couple living in the city of Redlands, targeted a San Bernardino County Department of Public Health training event and Christmas party of about 80 employees in a rented banquet room. Farouk was a U.S.-born citizen of Pakistani descent who worked as a health department employee. Malik was a Pakistani-born lawful permanent resident of the United States. After the shooting, the couple fled in a rented Ford Expedition Sport utility vehicle. 4 hours later, police pursued their vehicle and killed them in a shootout, which also left 2 officers injured. Now we'll jump ahead here to the motive. On December 1st, 2016, nearly 1 year after the attack, authorities speculated on Farouk's forced participation in the training event and Christmas party as the trigger. Newly discovered emails indicated that Malik had objected to the party and did not want her husband to participate. San Bernardino Police Chief Jared Bergwan said in an interview with ABC News that Malik stated that she didn't think a Muslim should have to participate in a non-Muslim holiday or event in an online account. So in a nutshell, Farouk and Malik were doing a slow burn because Farouk being invited to a Christmas party, even though I've never ever heard of a single Christmas party in human history where attendance was mandatory. Have you? If you have, please share. Now we will talk about one of the people killed at the December 2nd San Bernardino attack. His name is Harry Bauman, and this is a picture of him. Here is where I come into this. I'm watching the NBC Nightly News the next day, which would be December 3rd, and they are showing all the pictures of the people killed at the Christmas party. I see Harry's picture and I jump out of my skin. The reason is, Harry is a dead ringer for a very good friend of mine. The resemblance is so uncanny, I showed the photo to my friend's roommate, who is also a close friend. I've mentioned him before as the human encyclopedia. He saw the picture and said that could be using my other friend's last name. Now, in the interest of completeness, I will show you another photo of Harry with his girlfriend. And from this angle, the resemblance isn't quite so pronounced. So, okay, maybe this time it really was just a coincidence. But still, the initial jolt I got from seeing Harry's picture made me curious about the guy. I set about seeing what I could find on him. Harry Bauman was born and raised in York, PA, and had been a math and science teacher at Canyon Springs High School in Moreno Valley from 2009 to 2011. From The Hub, the Johns Hopkins University magazine, we learned Harry was an alum. He graduated with honors from Johns Hopkins in 1991, receiving both his BA in Geography and his MA in Geography and Environmental Engineering in 1991. 15 years before the shooting, Bauman moved to California and worked as a statistical analyst in the San Bernardino County Division of Environmental Health Services. Now, this detail about Harry I only found in one place and one place only. An article in the Los Angeles Times titled, San Bernardino Shooting Victims, Who They Were. Here is what the LA Times had to say about Harry. Bauman was one of the earliest contributors to CREATE, all caps, a USC center that studies national security and terrorism. The director of CREATE said in an email. Bauman, who left the center for a job with the San Bernardino Unified School District, was an expert in spatial data and mapping. So after I read that and sat back and thought, I said, this guy, Harry, did some type of work for a center that studies national security and terrorism. How about that? Regarding the 2015 San Bernardino shooting, and thinking back to all the news coverage about it, have you ever heard this before? I doubt if many people have. And remember that the supposed motive behind Farouk and Malik shooting up the County Department of Public Health training event and Christmas party at the Inland Regional Center was that Tashfeen was shooting a brick over Saeed having to go to a Christmas party. Does that even sound believable? Now, it can't be possible that Syed Farouk and Tashfeen Malik knew Harry Bauman had done some kind of counterterrorism work in the past, could it? If they knew this, wouldn't they certainly view Harry as an adversary? Some infidel standing in the way of their glorious jihad? Tell me what you think of Harry in the comments below. When I first heard the news reports about a mass casualty shooting event out of Las Vegas on October 1st, 2017, I thought, here we go again. I could almost picture what was going to happen next because I'd seen it before. We would get an official story of a lone gunman creating carnage, followed by a great deal of skepticism from certain quarters as to the official story's believability. Here we go again means for me that the general public is never given the full story on a mass casualty event, as usual. That information is going to be withheld, as usual. I don't view mass casualty events or even political assassinations as existing in isolation from any of the others. From JFK to RFK to MLK, from Oklahoma City bombing to 9/11 and beyond, the common theme always seems to be information withheld. Now, in future videos, I may drift into an analysis of other mass casualty events like I did with the San Bernardino shooting and Harry Bauman, but the Route 91 Harvest Festival massacre will always be the touchstone I return to. I will always come back to the Las Vegas shooting with a slightly different perspective. Now, maybe Eric Paddock is right when he says Stephen did it all by himself, and since he doesn't seem to resemble any other mass shooters in terms of profile, maybe he did break the mold. But personally, I think, even if Stephen Paddock acted alone, there's a larger dimension to him and his deed. An inwardly directed person as himself, might have kept some really dark secrets from Eric. I'm with Jen when it comes to thinking there's more to Mary Lou Danley than we've been told, especially when it turns out she and that Brian Hodge character, the witness who originally claimed he was booked into room 32-134, both had worked at the same casino in Australia, the Star Gold Coast. As long as I think I'm being lied to and getting pulled over that line yet again, I'm going to keep at this. Also, someone commented not too long ago that I should do a live stream one of these days. Pardon me for not remembering the name of the person who said that. I'd have to look it up, but I do like the idea. I'll keep you all informed. Oh, and the song. St. James Infirmary Blues, a traditional blues tune with lyrics by Joe Primrose. Have a good one. Bum bubum, 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 I went down to St. James Infirmary to see my baby there. She was lying on a long white table, so weak, so cool, so fair. I went up to see the doctor. She very low, he said. I went back to see my baby. Great God, she's lying there dead. I went down to old Joe's barroom on the corner of the square. They were serving drinks as per usual, and the usual crowd was there. On my left stood old Joe McKinley. His eyes were bloodshot red. Hey, he turned to the crowd that were standing around him, and these were the words he said. Let her go, let her go. God bless her wherever she may be. She may search the whole world over, but she'll never find a man like me. When I die, won't you please bury me in my high-top Stetson hat? Put a gold piece on my watch chain so they know I died standing in pat. Get 6 gamblers to carry my coffin and 6 chorus girls to sing my song. Put a jazz band on my tailgate so they can raise hell as we go along. Now that's the end of my story. Let's have another round of booze. And if anyone should ask you, tell them I got the St. James Infirmary Blues. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Heidi, 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 hi, 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 hi. La, la. Later.